Hey everybody, this is Nicholas Waters again with another video on government contracting. We're going to be covering the 10 biggest mistakes to avoid when going after government contracts. So if you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and let's hop in. Alright man, so let's kick it off with mistake number 1. SAM.gov equals government contracts. SAM.gov is just the initiation phase of going after the government. If government contracting was done in alphabetical order, getting registered is A, bidding is Z. And there's a B through Y that really needs to happen prior to getting government contracts. SAM.gov is not going to market for you. It's not a lead generation site. It's nothing that the government can utilize to search, find, or reach out to your company. It doesn't share any of your contact information either. So SAM.gov just means you're eligible to do business with the government, but nowhere close to ready. This mistake is one of the mistakes that I hate the most, and it's companies, they get registered and they just want to bid on everything. The best way to go after government contracts is specialize in something. Don't be a jack of everything. You want to find a specific industry that you can bid on, that you can learn and become famous for that particular service. You build a past performance, which makes the government want to work with you even more, and it allows teaming partnerships to expand and grow as well. Find one industry, one specific focus that you can master, research, and understand exactly everything that goes into selling that specific product or service, and then let's move on to things after we've mastered that. Mistake 3 is one of the most inexcusable mistakes I think that you can make. When you are doing a capability statement, you need to be very specific on exactly what the government is asking you for. Core competencies, past performance, differentiators, certifications, and NAICS codes and product service codes, right? And a part along with your company snapshot. That is the most important piece of your capability statement. What you don't want to do is have your overview or your differentiators and a lot of the things about your service being excellent service, great customer service, a lot of weightless words that really isn't getting out exactly who and what your company does and what separates you from the other competitors that you're going against. You want to specialize this statement. This is your chance to brag about your services, not to use wasteless words just to make it sound better. Just do a little simple research on your capability statement, and that will tell you everything you need to know about what you need to do, and then make sure that we're delivering the best version of your business. Now, mistake 4 is one of the biggest and most important pieces of government contracting that if you skip this step, it's going to make it very hard to win. And that's doing the right research. When you're doing work with the government, the benefit is it's all public information. These are all taxpayer dollars that the government has to spend, and that spending has to be tracked. So there's a lot of websites that you can use, SAM.gov, USA Spending if you're looking for specific spending data that you can use to go and identify all the contracts that have been awarded in the past. You get spending data, the exact people that are buying what you do. What time of the year are they buying from it? It's what the government calls procurement trends. And you can identify these buying cycles and sell to the government when you know they're already buying it. This is going to tell you those agencies that are meeting their obligations and failing their obligations. So if you see a specific agency has a need for your certification, this is where you can start looking for the contracts within that agency and start addressing those needs. But the market research is so important, and the best part about it is it's completely free. Now, number 5 and number 4 kind of go hand in hand. If you do the right research, then you can start going after contracts prior to the government making it an RFP. You have a few different types of what you would consider quote-unquote contracts that you can go after prior to an actual RFP being created. You have sources sought, you have requests for information, where the government is requesting information on a specific job or service and product that they need, and you can address these needs. But what this allows is for you to get your information over to the government, for them to, they're openly asking, send us information about you. Get them over your capabilities, brag about your company, and show them exactly what you can do. You can identify these trends, you can identify these buying cycles, and then you can kind of forecast exactly when these contracts are going to come out, when these pre-solicitations and RFIs and sources sought are going to come out. So that way you can already have information prepared and ready to go for the government. And once you start doing this enough, start templating out the basics of this, right? You're not going to be able to template out everything for a sources sought or an RFI. It's very important that your capabilities can kind of be created in a soft draft that you can always use to respond to RFIs, sources sought, and pre-solicitations with. Now, mistake number 6 is the most important piece of everything that we're going to be talking about today, and that's proposal compliance. The government does an evaluation on your bid, and there's evaluation criteria that they're looking for. A lot of times the big mistake that companies make is when they're responding to the government, they're responding with everything that they can do, instead of addressing the exact need and the exact information they're going to be evaluated on. So make sure when you're researching your bid, you're not just researching it to respond, you're researching it to address the government's need, because that's the most important piece. And making sure your proposal is compliant is half of the battle. Making sure you're not getting rejected for putting information in the wrong area or not making it digestible for the government. Address the needs of the government and make sure that you're dotting all your I's and crossing your T's on your proposals. You'd be shocked how many times companies lose contracts just to improper proposal compliance. So very important to do. And always make sure that you're doing a debriefing and FOIA request on the winning contract and your contract to make sure that when we are bidding on a contract, even if we win or if we lose, we can identify exactly what we did wrong and get the winning bid in our hand to make sure we can see what our competitors are submitting as well. Now, mistake number 7 is a critical piece and something that a lot of companies really don't credit themselves on when going after government contracts. When people get registered in SAM, they immediately don't put past performance on their capability statement or on their SBA profile when it's asking them to list their past performance. They thought, well, I just got registered with the government, so I couldn't have done a government job yet. A lot of the time that's wrong. So one, the government's going to count commercial work. If you have commercial work that is backing up the exact service or product that they're asking for, you can use that commercial experience. The other thing is subcontracting. Subcontracting with larger primes is so important, and a lot of companies don't even realize that they're working on a government project. If it's a school district, if it's a local community, if it's a state or city or county project, if it's with the federal government, of course, this is all considered past performance. So always pay attention to, if you are working for another company, what type of work that is, because that is going to be very important. And make sure that even if you've never done work with the actual government, that you're leveraging exactly what you have done in the past. The government will take that as past performance. So always list your past performance and always recognize exactly what the government dictates exactly what past performance is. Because a lot of times you're going to have a lot more than what you expect. Now, mistake 8 is one of I think the most obvious pieces of government contracting, and that's just building relationships. In any industry, in anything you've ever done in your life, it is way better if you already know people and have built relationships with the people that are already doing what you're trying to do. The government does industry events that address specific industries where people that do exactly what you do all attend to meet and greet. You also are going to have small business offices and small businesses events, contracting events. A lot of the time on contracts, specifically if you're in a construction field, there are pre-bid meetings where you get to meet contracting officers, meet other primes that are going after these contracts. And so this is where it's important to have a capability statement handy or a hard copy that's like a laminated that you can even give out when you're there. But it doesn't just have to be meeting them in person. Everybody who gets SAM registered elects for their information to be used for government contracting, which is what allows this information to be public. So you can find people and market and connect with them that way. You don't just have to wait to see them in person. You just have to be creative and reach out, do your research, and find the people that are like-minded like yourself that you could connect with and start targeting contracts together. Now, this is unfortunately one of the biggest mistakes I see, and it's giving up too soon in government contracting. I can't stress this enough. Government contracting is one of the most easiest pieces of building a business because it's so transparent. Know the resources that you have available to you. And that's the whole purpose of these videos, is to give you guys the resources that you need. So that way, when you guys are going after contracts, we have all the tools and resources in our back pocket to make sure that we understand every piece of government contracting. And when we're bidding on a contract, you have a lot of things that you can do. One is you're not penalized for bidding, okay? So put up a lot of shots, especially if you're in an industry that has tons of opportunities. Get your shots out there. Some companies take a month to bid on 5 contracts. Some companies take 6 months to bid on 5 contracts. The difference is the company that does it in a month, the feedback loop that they get returns a lot quicker. And that allows you to fix your mistakes very quick and on the fly, where some companies, again, take 5, 6, 12 months to get out 5 proposals. That's never a good game plan. There's a few tactics that we can do. So one is going to be every time that you bid, you want to do what's called a debriefing request. A debriefing is understanding why you did not win the contract. They have to provide you a reason, and this reason is going to give you insight on whether your issue was a proposal, whether you beat out on a price, if somebody came in bigger, better, faster, cheaper, stronger. You can understand this information and adjust your proposals in the future. Another thing that you can do is a term called FOIA requesting. FOIA requesting stands for Freedom of Information Act. Collect the information from the contract and see exactly what our competitors are doing and exactly what the government, full insight was on the contract. So there's a lot of different tactics that you can use. You just have to use them. And that way, going into the future, if we've seen the same mistake reoccur on your second and third and fourth proposal, now we know we have to make a change because we're clearly not addressing the government's needs. So don't give up. Whether you're one proposal in, 3, 5, 10, you gotta do the research on why you're losing and then just put up shots. After a while, you will get good at it. Then once you build up the past performance on the federal side, the government will even allow you to go further, and we can start winning contracts and doing it at a very consistent rate. Now, mistake number 10 is where all of this comes together, and it's a system. It's a system, and 1 through 9 is a consistent system that you have to run all the time if you want to be very successful in government contracting. There's so many different areas of government contracting that you can venture into that if you build a structure and you build a system around what your process is, that way you're just going to beat out most of the people you bid against anyways, because they're probably where you are now, still continuously doing the wrong things. So once you create a system, you will see your win percentage increase significantly, and this is what's really going to allow you to build the long-term revenue with the number one client in the country, and that's the government.